Hi. Okay, this is a general intro that I'm going to add to every one of the 12 readings I'm about to do for each sign individually, but I've got the cards organized right now. I'm going to do house readings. I'm going to go for each sign. I'm going to check each of your 12 houses, what your energy is in them, and that's my idea of the most accurate sort of diagnosis I can come up with. You know, it would be my version of, you know, it's similar to the, well, it's not similar to a Celtic cross or something, but in terms of not just my free flow normal readings. So what I wanted to show in introduction was how I'm going to use the cards to classify a bit. I'm going to identify, I'll put, one card will be up here, so whatever your sign you are that you're going to be identifying with in the reading, it'll be up here. For me, this is Aries energy, Leo energy, and Sagittarius energy, but by houses, by first, fifth, and ninth houses, right? That's what how I'm classifying the energy. So you might very well be King and Queen energy and watching for Aries, right? So what I'll do is I'll have the Page of Wands up, identifying it as Aries, but the other cards will go back in the deck. So if you are coming out in Knight or Queen or King energy and it needs to come out in the reading, then it will, okay? And we'll correctly identify. So similar, Taurus, because we all know, I keep going on about this, I reclassified Earth and Air to match the houses, but also there are more reasons to reclassify them in their cardinal, mutable, and fixed energies than just the cardinal points that Ptolemy gave them. So I'll make a video arguing that out. I explain it most videos, but Taurus at Page, cardinal energy, Virgo, Knight, and then the entrepreneur, because of the career house, the 10th house is career house, so King and Queen energy for Capricorn, okay? But again, same old. If you're watching for that sign and you're in other, you know, you're in a particular energy, then it'll come through in the deck, because I'll just put the one card up as a signifier and the others will be back mixed in with the deck. So Gemini, and otherwise, so remember Earth and Air I've reclassified. Gemini, Libra as the Knight, and Aquarius as Queen and King because of 11th house, 3rd house, 7th house, and 11th house, okay? And Cups, Cancer, 4th house, Scorpio, 8th house, and 12th house with Pisces. And I would make note that with Pisces, because the 12th house is all houses, and Pisces can take on the qualities, the attributes of any sign, because they've been through all of them. So this Queen and this King wear all the crowns. Even more so than how we classify with the Emperor, right? Or even the Empress. These two, because they're all signs and all houses, they wear all 8 crowns. So that's how I classify those. They'll be representing your sign. For the houses, I know that this is typically in tarot, this is an Aquarius card, but I like it to be, I'm going to use it, it can be identified with Aries in first house, yes. And so I believe in astrology it's used as a first house card, is how I first learned it. So I'm going to use it for first house. I'm going to use the Hierophant. I often, in my astrology work, I'll use him as Chiron, as a planet placement, but I'd rather use him in this. I won't worry about a Chiron card. I'm going to use him as the 2nd house. Lovers for 3rd house. Chariot, because it gets confusing between the, I use the High Priestess card, which is normally a 4th house card. I use her as a Lilith placement, which may or may not come out in the reading, but I'll know if it is. And Lilith, as a lunar experience placement, can be magnetisms and polarities. So they'll give me definite messages if I need. So I'm using the Chariot because that is a 4th house card. It's a Cancer card, so it might as well be used. I'm using the Strength card for 5th house, yes. Of course, Hermit for 6th house, Justice for 7th house, Death for 8th house, Temperance, of course, for 9th house. And I get torn with this because I know it's Capricorn, but it's I could use the World card, but I use the World card for Saturn as a planet placement. So I'm going to use Capricorn's card, the Devil, for 10th house, Aquarius and the Star. And I do equate the Tower more with 11th house with Uranus than with Mars and Pluto in Scorpius. It's a split camp. If you go researching online, it's as far as I know, it's a 50-50 split. But I've done my research, and I've got my articles that I refer to that identify the issues that the Tower brings more with Uranus issues. So I'm going to use the Star, obviously, for Aquarius. And then in astrology, the moon is Cancerian, but in tarot, it is Pisces. So, and I need it because Hangman has the Neptune meaning. So these will be, I will use these. They won't be in the deck. They're going to be signifying the houses. So they're going to stay out of it. So what we do in place of them, and they'll be up here. I'll just have one card up at the top, and that'll show which house we're working on. And then for the planets, right? So these will be put back in the deck so that if there's a house that's affecting your house that we're reading about, or there's a planet affecting that, right? Then we have them mirrored, right, by their rulers here. So Sun and Leo, the 5th house. Mercury, so the Magician is Mercury in 3rd house. Of course, Venus, 2 houses. We've got 7th house and 2nd house there. So, and we're going to use High Priestess as Lilith. So any lunar house she might represent, right? But let's say she typically represents the moon, so that would be Cancerian. But Mars, right? Emperor. Jupiter, the wheel. Saturn, the world. So for me, Uranus, the Tower, Hanged Man, Neptune, and Judgment, Pluto. Okay, so those will be put back in the deck. And now let's get to your individual readings, and I hope that makes sense. That's what I do when I'm using the cards in chart work. And now, I'll break for a moment, and I'll be right back. Hey Aquarius, let's get into it. Took some time because, well, you don't need to know that it took some time. I don't think you were waiting. But if it makes any sense, there was, on July 31st was one of the anniversaries of the 1987 Edmonton tornado. And one of my clients, her great niece, was lost at age 18 in that tornado in the Evergreen trailer park. And given my work with murder victims and victims of violent death, I was there with my client on the anniversary day, and several other events collided with that day. Also, tornadoes are a recurring theme in my life. They're sort of the spiritual juggernaut for me. Which is, easily said when it's a physical juggernaut for everybody else. But I tend to journey in weather conditions like that. It's very easy for a lot of people, I think. And so, in the midst of all of that, there was also the anniversary of the death of Sloan Bella's son, Keith Bella, that I had done a lot of... well, it was another event. Rest in peace, Keith, but justice is needed. And that was on the 29th of July. And I've just entered working on Gemini's house in my astrology workbook. Very interesting, dramatic start to Gemini. But Aquarius, I've been in particularly strong Aquarius energy. I have an Aquarius moon. And I have been off for days into fairyland, Celtic particularly. Working very much with whichever energies, whoever it is. Very much in the energy of Green Man, which is a universal worldly energy. Has a world history. And back I want to say March or April, I predicted that you were being called into fairyland, and it caught up with me big time. And I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I basically plan on mostly staying there. So, let's start with your first house. Sorry for the ramble, but there might be something in it that matters to you, because I do feel like you should be, in all likeliness, connected to something otherworldly right now, in particular, like besides the norm. Like this would be like a major life event. I've been watching it happen for you for, well, probably even the last year, particularly, ever since they brought me into this. And my dad is an Aquarius, so it's hitting strongly in, you know, between him and I as well. So if we get to your first house, now this is also one of your cards, the Fool, right? Like I might have said that in the intro, but we're going to treat it as first house energy, which is ruled by Mars and Aries, right? But carrying the understanding that it also carries your energy. What I'm finding is that I almost learn more about other people in the first house issues than the self, and I learn more about the self in the 7th house, because there's so much reflected experiences of self in the 7th house through others. So I'm going to look at this, what the cards come through in this house for you, with fresh eyes, with new eyes, and consider that there are possibly other people's energy in this house for you, not just your own, given that the first house is usually the house of self, right? Your rising sign, if you want to get your sidereal chart done, please, because that will be accurate. The tropical is accurate for seasonal seasonal understandings of yourself and auras, but in terms of being accurate to where the stars were, you have to go with sidereal. And right now I'm going with the Larry Eli Ionamsa. I was going with the Fagan Bradley of all the Ionamsas, just for, you know, checking how close I could get to the fact that everything's a 30-degree equal division is not accurate in and of itself, because the constellations aren't all 30 degrees, right? So we'd have to build an Ionamsa that is uneven to be accurate, but and that's kind of what I'm doing in my astrology workbook. But get your correct rising sign. It could still be the same sign as you have in tropical, but the degrees could be shifted. I'm finding the whole house system tends to be a little bit more accurate than any other uneven house system, but I use both, because it's like the uneven house system gives a bit of an aura or an echo, whereas the whole house carries like some serious full weight. That's what I'm finding anyway. So let's see what's going on. Whoa, something's in progress, and quite strongly when I get it on a 45-degree angle. Ooh, Neptune energy, the Hanged Man, but upside down in the Magician pose. So a tremendous amount of power and stability. See, we have the 4 of stability there, and near completion. Major arcana right off the bat in your first house. Okay. And that would be 12th house energy, Pisces. But you do have the change of perspective. You do have basically, or you're almost there, right? Wonder what needs to be. Ooh, parallel. Oh, okay. So completely in transit, shall we say, with your 10 of Pentacles. To me, this is Capricorn energy, 10th house energy. But all stability and then security, yes? Now they're foot to foot, toe to toe. But I'm getting it, the word transit came through for me like it hasn't come before. Saturn energy, because of 10th house. So if this is you as muse, as bridge between worlds, then something's reconciling. In oppositions, things are reconciled to be complementary to each other. It's being reconciled between that world and this world. Your stability in that world and your security in this world. They're not squaring off against each other. They're not butting heads, causing friction, causing a change. They're actually reconciling with each other. And that might be all we get for this house. Very mutable energy, both of them. Very dependent on the actions of others is what that means. Okay, what is stuck? Your own energy. Well, yes. Yes, but proving yourself to everyone in communication, thoughts, words, knowledge, right? And probably because of this opposition, well, because of this opposition, absolutely. But your 11th house, so we have 12th, 10th, and 11th house. And what comes between 12th and 10th is 11, right? But for me, 9s are proving yourself to everyone after proving yourself to yourself. And that is almost squaring off. That's where the friction is. While these two reconcile. Okay. Now let's leave that as, that's quite a lot. So let's just leave. I'm just figuring out how I want to store these cards. I'm going to do it that way. I can always check the camera. Let's put first house up there. Let's go to second house. And so we're going to probably not know the story until we get all the way to house 10 and 11, 12, but we are going to pick up puzzle pieces as we go. So second house of, what do I want to say about second house that's been coming through to me? How you get money, the best ways for you to get money based on your best workplaces and your career destiny, the debts and the assets that you have. This is ruled by Venus, so how to look after, knowing what you need and what you deserve and how to get it. Pushing yourself to do what needs to be done. You know, sort of stepping into the responsibilities, what else? Obviously, binding matrix situations that bind you. Okay, not quite, first house energy. Almost parallel. Not quite. It's a little closer than your 10 of Pentacles. It's not quite in the same direction. I want to say that it's squaring off with the 9 of Swords. But that start, that basically your magician's wand, wanting to do the thing you want to do, the new thing. Ooh, this is definitely squaring off. Here we have that Saturn energy that I was talking about in your 10 of Pentacles, right? All right, so the beginning and the end. So something needs to end, and so that something else can begin. There's accomplishment that's coming. And Saturn co-rules your house with Uranus. So Saturn has everything to do with your 9 swords, proving yourself to everyone. And of course, this is the energy of having proved yourself to everyone successfully. Okay. And now in terms of finances, what else do we have to say? What else would God like you to know? Wow, okay. Here's the rest of that. Whoa. Okay, so in her own house, one of her own houses, let's just do this. Now, both aces are going this way. She's going this way. Okay. And the world is squaring off against all of them. So she is, now for me this is an female aspect of God, or the female person of God, female mother God, yes? That's how I read That's how they got me to understand the cards, okay? So that I have unique messages. Not because I want to be unique, just because, well, of course I do, but consistent. I want to be consistent with how I accept, how I get the messages. So here you have Venus manifesting. She's here. She's working with you on your financial stability, okay? Those 10 pentacles. They're in sync with each other. The Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands, the truth and the desire. If I move her here, okay, let's just do this. And all in relative to, now we don't have pentacles on the table here, but this matrix kind of situation, this authority, this, we're just bypassing him, her. Okay, if we look at them in terms of opposition, just the same as the Ten of Pentacles and Neptune, yes? So that these are being reconciled. Her ability to manifest with you is in opposition with these the desire and the truth. So it's which is very interesting. This can be called the finger of God. We do have masculine energy here. So it could be the masculine versus the masculine way of doing things versus the feminine way. So the going out and the receiving. Yes, the two ways of protecting, or the two ways of, very interesting. But we're getting a pyramid. Okay, so let's, that second house, we'll see what that means for when we get to, well, even Gemini should tell us, because for me, Gemini is the house, the third house is the home of the Ace of Swords. I put Gemini as cardinal, because of housework, I put Gemini as cardinal air, and Taurus as cardinal earth. To match the numeric progression of the houses. Also because I feel it suits it much better. See what you think. And we'll see what happens in justice, because Venus co-rules. Although I'm finding research suggesting that Ceres become a ruler of Taurus rather than Venus. Okay, shush, and move on to the third. Okay, so choices, ethics, knowledge. I find you can get a lot of attacks in this house, so that you're stopped from knowing what you should know and saying what you should say. Of course, this house is completely connected to your own house, because this is what you learn, and in your house it's what you do with what you learn, with what you know. Now, if we take it as the Lovers and passion, you know, there's that as well. It's a very, very loaded house. Okay, that progress, that angle. Okay, that's similar to that's in the same position as the Pisces, as the Hanged Man. You're almost ready to accept that cup then I'm taking. And that's stability. So stability with roots, with guides. Again, the stability echoed of the four of the Hanged Man, the pose of his legs. Fourth house energy and third house. So Cancer energy and Gemini energy. The acceptance. Balance, like fourth house is about balance and self-control in terms of if you can control yourself and you can control your immediate environment, your home environment, and then you are protected against, like you're mindful and you're able to counter against the imbalances of everyone around you. Yes? Ooh, flipping right out. Here you are again. Here you are again in completion. Okay, so not only the World card repeated and the Nine of Swords repeated. You know everything. Okay. You know everything. You know everything that you need to know. And that Ace of Swords. So it's very interesting, the relationship between this ending here and the beginning, connected to Venus. So your means and your finances, your debts and your liabilities, your assets, everything. Fresh start. Debts get wiped out. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But how? Let's see. What else do I want to know? But completion. Completion parallel. Wow. Okay. So just like the Ten of Pentacles, just like Ten of Pentacles in opposition to Neptune being reconciled, this stability is being reconciled to who you are, your reputation, your abilities, your career. So this completely echoing. So that means specifically it's tied to spiritual or emotional. For me, this is very much to do with spirit guides. And I'm looking at this as a professional spirit guide or a set of professional spirit guides. Hence, you know, this is how you know everything. This is how you know everything. Okay. And let's just see. It's, again, not quite squaring off, but you have a 150-degree angle here. There's some level of genius. It's a quincunx. I think we have another one of those, but it's 150-degree angle means that, excuse me, there's some kind of stroke of genius required. There's a mastery between these two houses, between your 4th and your 11th then, which I don't think is necessarily, there should be 5 houses between. Yeah, so it's more, it's like a spiritual quincunx than a mathematical one. But because I'm looking at the angle of these cards to be basically 150 degrees. Am I even right? Yeah, I am. So there's some level of genius. There's a genius leap. There's a master leap between these two houses happening, that they're coming together and they're making that reconciliation, that, you know, just the way that the oppositions are reconciling. Very interesting. Don't worry, if it's sounding a little clouded right now, we'll have clarity. We'll have clarity. That's how it goes with the house. That's what I love about the house readings, because it is puzzle pieces. Okay, 4th house. That 4 of Cups. The balance, just like I described. I already described it in 3rd house. Your own home, for sure. There's a 0 tolerance policy of toxicity that needs to be reached and adhered to in this house. Okay, let's take them parallel. 6 of Swords going back to the 5 of Swords, that necessary change, which would explain the Ace of Swords, the 10 of Swords, the 9 of Swords. Damn, here we go again. That independence. And of course you want this to complete. You want safe passage. And for me, this boat has to, of course, it's reminding me of how much the boat needs to be balanced to get safely across, yes? Needs to be, and it's carrying the 5 swords plus the sword of truth, right? But yeah, no, it needs to be absolutely balanced. Balanced. And if there's something toxic, but the 5 of Swords, doing the right thing. And here we go again with more 10th house energy. So the Genius, now this is straight up and down. And what I need to realize is these. Look at all of this reconciling in your chart that's going on. All this reconciling in your life. Again, opposition. Right? Toe to toe. Or head to head, whichever way we put it, right? But oppositions. Just for the heck of it. Okay? For me, this is Libra energy. So justice. Others would put it as your energy. But because I correspond it to the progression of houses, yes. And I find it fits better, same as always with everything else. So, yeah, this justice, this delivery of either evidence or, you know, action taken with that Empress, the Venus, whatever she's up to and doing, right? Again. So, yes, what did I say? Because we'll find out the specifics of what she's doing as we compare it to Taurus house with Venus house. So there's something about a long-term situation, a long-term partnership that's tied to your independence, and it's being reconciled. Anything else we want to say here? Libra is the path to heaven. I've found out. Well, I kind of knew it, but it was confirmed in I just finished working on Libra's house in my astrology workbook before coming into Gemini's. And was taken on a very deep dive. I think the deepest dive yet. To understand just how much the journey of Libra is the journey of finding God, the truth about God. So yes, we have the spiritual echoing the, you know, the security in the spiritual, the safety in the spiritual, reconciling with the security in the material, in the physical. 6 and 9, master numbers. Libras, Aquarius 69. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, so they, the camera cut out while I was shuffling, and the 6 of Wands flew out. So another 6 to throw off the 69 going on. Three's a party at this point, but Leo energy, going back to the 5 of Wands. So not only do we have a 5 of Swords, now we have another quincunx happening between this 6 and this 6. Another leap of genius between Libra and Leo. So between negotiations and creativity, there's something that's going to be another master move from you in that necessary change. So that ace, oh my God, okay, so see how we have yeah, second house, yeah, sword and wand together, and had that squaring off with the world, and the world is parallel to the 9. even this 6 is parallel, is squaring off, right? With these. So the sword is slightly ahead of the wand. Yep. Sword's closer to her than the wand. So the information comes ahead of the, what do we want to say? The recognition, the acknowledgement, the praise, the, the affirmation, the applause, right? First comes the justice and the information or the evidence, or, safe passage. Safety first. Yes. Yes. Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. Safety first in your home makes sense. Now, so that 6 of Wands and this Leo energy, your 5th house energy. Let's find out what's going here. Which part of the story is this? Okay. I'm not going to quite take that as a square. It's not quite a 45-degree angle. But it's 3 of Pentacles, so Taurus energy again, like we were just reviewing. Others would put it as Capricorn, but for me it's 2nd house. It's equal to 2nd house. Okay, so a work environment, or yeah, stepping into a manifestation. There's going to be conflicts of interest, absolutely. Depends on, what corporate ladder or what, who you want to do business with, right? That you might regret, what you want to sign your name to. If you're going to value yourself enough. And again, so that Venus energy, we should have just kept it out here. Let's do 1st house review, because is it like this? Yes. So you see, it's not quite, it's almost like in a trine. Why are they getting me to read it like chart positions? Okay. But yeah, there's like there's some luck here. Trines are lucky. The squares push. They push, they make friction, they make things happen. Where there isn't activity, where you're stuck, a square in your chart comes along and pushes you where you need to be pushed when you need to be pushed. Hopefully. So there's luck here between this situation and the reconciling of your 12th and your 10th. The spiritual and the, okay. All right. So it's a good thing. We want to look at it in a good way. Let's just check that with what we saw. And then, so yes, and then you've got your 9 swords stuck there. Your own house. So we have Venus again with the 2 aces. Absolutely, basically parallel to that. Yes. Am I missing anything else? Yes, the 4 of Cups with the King of Pentacles. Reconciling, because you know everything. Look at all. It's just so many reconciliations. It's so much of coming together. What I mean by reconciliations is you coming together within yourself. Things that took time, took your life, right? That if you could have done them faster, you would have. It's the beauty of finding out you have an astrological chart, and at the same time that you can be really angry that you didn't come in knowing it, right? Because it's a sucky universe. My God's not all powerful. Okay. Not quite upright. I'd say we have another 150-degree angle here. Maybe wider. Maybe a bit more genius. Maybe a bit wide of the genius mark, but we have a 3 and a 6. Oh, the fair exchange. Now, it's working this way, that's working that way. This needs more time. How do I want to put that? I don't know, I'm changing it a bit, I know. Okay. But this wasn't quite reversed either. But to get it into the upright. Okay, so for me this is Virgo energy. So between what you're investing in and what you're going to do about it, just like between Gemini and Aquarius, what you know and what you're going to do with what you know, there is this energy of, and it's a 6. It's another 6. So you've got 3 6s so far. And apparently first we're going to lead with the sword, and then the wand, and then the pentacle. The Knight of Pentacles carries this energy. The Page of Pentacles carries this energy. Now, why it's in your 5th house, explaining those 6 wands upside down, right? Fair exchange. So there's a lot of work energy in your 5th house. So let's just, take a wild guess here that a lot of your work is creative work. But collaborative work. For me, this is collaborative creativity. And it might be nothing to do with artistic creativity. It might be scientific creativity. It might be, athletic creativity. I don't want to say, because there's a lot of physical energy in the 5th house, right? A lot of physical energy. But in terms of more collective, collaborative than with Pisces creativity, which is between you and your muses, between you and the spirit world, which would be more in your head. Even your own creativity, Aquarius, which is, again, you can feel it physically. But I'm talking about putting on a show with other people, or, things that require teams. So, apparently you have a lot of people to work with. You might have multiple contracts. Anything else they want to tell me? Where the exhaustion of, continuously getting new work from different areas. Okay. All right. Oh, good. Let's add a 3rd angle to this. Wow. Yep. Queen of Wands with the plan. Sagittarius energy. What I was saying about getting work from multiple areas and multiple contracts. Absolutely. Because Sagittarius is all about, my 2nd house is in Sagittarius. So it's all about multiple clients, multiple contracts, which takes us back to 2nd house, how you get money, with Venus and the 2 aces, and yeah, those 9 swords. How many people? How many people? Yes. But this is clarity. This is absolute clarity that there either are creative contracts, teamwork. This is how it comes in. This is where you know who you are. Okay, Queen of Wands knows who she is. Knows everything. That cat tells her what she doesn't know. Right? Her little scout. Psychic scout. No, it wasn't exactly the same angle. So this work situation is coming ahead of the queen, but then she needs to know how to put the right value on herself. This fair exchange. The fair exchange. You need to know the whole context in order to put the right value on yourself. These are almost, you want them reconciling each other. Yes, this is how we would like to have it. They're not quite aligned that way. But if we can get to the point where they are, and reconcile them to each other. Okay. All right, Aquarius. Your 6th house. Working alone. But again, health. Although, yeah, anything pentacles and wands to me can tell us about your health. And we'd say that your health, your well-being is very much tied up in 5th house. Now, routines, problem solving, systems, troubleshooting systems, creating new systems, right? Very much tied to any ingenuity, any genius work you're going to do in your own house that's revolutionary, that's technological, right? Right off the hop, I'm going to carefully lay it down. There she is. Dun dun dun. The moon, High Priestess. Now, I also in my astrology work, I needed a card for Lilith, and so I use her for my Lilith card. And for me, Lilith is all about magnetisms and polarities, attracting and repelling. Yes. So, okay. Now, so just the right workplaces, just the right contracts. She's being protective. And I take it as I take her as an outside energy. I take her as basically the same as she is, symbolically the same as Empress. They combine her symbols in enough places that the same woman that gives birth to the son that the dragon wants to eat up has the stars in her crown and the moon at her feet. Okay. Let's bring Scorpio into this. Sure. Let's bring 8th house into this. Can we say that they're close to squaring off? We want them to be, so they're budding. So, transformation, transformative Knight of Cups. All this moon energy, all of this lantern energy. Deep knowing, deep feeling, very deep feelings. Deep feelings, very much seeing ahead, very much knowing ahead, being able to take action, right? So if she's stopping, now the Knight is fairly close to upright. Bringing that creative restart right in the deck, Libra energy. Libra energy, 7 of transformation. So the transformation in how you communicate. But again, that 6 of Swords situation. So first comes the sword, first comes safety, then comes desire, then the attention, the leadership, and then comes the money. Now, if we have so much spiritual energy reconciling with your Pentacles, we have possibly her and you. Because here we have thinking. Now, is it somebody else's energy? This would be the Knight of Swords energy. But because she's here affecting what you know, a transformative Knight. Again, okay, so we're going back to that relationship. Let's just check your 3rd house, because this is ruled by Mercury. And of course, I should have said the Sun rules Leo. Yes, so your Sun energy, which will also be your triggers and instincts. But let's just go back to the other house that Mercury rules. What was going... Yeah. Anything... Yeah. Okay. Here's what was going on. The Ten of Swords with the Seven of Swords, both upright. So the beginning, the ending and the beginning and the transformation, absolutely, of you. We have this cup. This knight is bringing this cup that you're accepting. You've accepted the cup. You've accepted the cup. The transformation brings the cup. From a guide. Yes. But if this is in third house, it could be another relationship. And where did we have? Yeah, because we have the Six of Swords right there in your fourth house. But again, the emphasis on the spiritual being reconciled with the physical. Which could be in a relationship as well. It could be, it could be, it could be. But look at that clarity of the 10 swords upright and the 7 swords upright. Okay, so squaring off. So there's friction, there's necessary movement. So these two, basically they're working together. It looks like they're working against each other, but they're actually working together. Because the square is actually making something happen that needs to happen. So your polarities and your magnetisms are working in your favor. So if something's not working out with somebody, it's for the best. If something is working out with somebody, it's for the best. So take what you can and run with it. And let's see if we have any clarity from your 7th house. Venus, other house. This is where I said that I'm learning that you can learn more about yourself in this house of the other than you can even in your first house. Because so much of what you've done reflects back on you and tells you about yourself. Yeah, okay. Instability. The last card of the 2nd house. Got a ways to go before it's stable. We've only had the 3 of Pentacles out. We don't have the Ace, we don't have the 2. Okay, parallel energy again now. Yep. Oh, transiting together. 2 4s. 8 8. Okay. There's that Ace of Swords. And again. No. So both stability, that safe passage that'll bring the Pentacles in your 4th house. We'll get there. Oh, okay. Here's how we have that Ace. Very good. Upright. You and the others. All these reconciliations between you and the opposition. You and the opposition. You and the opposition. That contract. We go back to first 10 of Pentacles and that Neptune. And the 9 swords. Right. Proving yourself to everyone. Gemini and Taurus for me. Gemini and Taurus for me. And Taurus. It was, either way, it was squaring off against these. Moving in the same direction as the Aces and the Empress. We have the other 4 in Gemini. So we're missing the 4 of Wands. But if we look at that 3 of Pentacles, right, in your 5th house, is it 5th? Yep. That genius leap. Again, those genius leaps between the 6th and the 9th. Yes. Is that all that was? No, the 6 and the 6 and the 9. Yeah. But there was something even before that. But yeah, you're, like what I was saying, there are a lot of contracts between you and others. Okay. Eighth house, that Knight of Cups. It's really the only Scorpio card we've had on the table so far. Eighth house, what was I saying? Okay, so 11, 11, the 4 of Wands stuck right here in this transformation house. And that creative push, creative drive, those magnetisms where your Lilith is working in your 6th house. Four, 2, 2, but 4. So we have all 4s on the table. Flipping over in the deck. Okay. Gemini energy. You know everything. You know everything. That 4th cup is coming through. Pluto and Mars. Knowing your inner wealth, knowing your inner powers. This is other people's money as well.